Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is Sessions wrestler, Miss London Storm. London, it's a pleasure and privilege. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. First and foremost, it's a pleasure and privilege to have you. I know you're relatively new to the Sessions world, so it's great now to pick your mind and pick your brain about the session wrestling community as a whole. And I look forward to seeing what the future holds for you in said session wrestling.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Oh, you're very welcome. Now, first and foremost, again, a new venture for all of us. How did you get involved into the Sessions world? What really interested you in it? What really gravitated you towards it?
Well, so a few years ago, a friend of mine, she's involved with the session world, and she's been trying to get me into it last couple years. And I didn't realize how empowering it could be. I was going through a lot in my personal life, and a lot of struggle. And so when I moved back home recently this time, I told her, I was like, I need a change. I need to feel better about myself, bring myself back alive again. And she's like, girl, session wrestling. And at first I looked into it, I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way, because I saw on the webpage these girls and, but then I saw the different genre of women, like the body shapes, the looks, different ethnicities and everything like that. And it really drew me in because, I've always been self-conscious as a female. I think a lot of females get that throughout their life. And just seeing the different variety of beautiful women on there and the empowerment that they share together and, just having the support system through the people that are involved on there in this short period of time, it's very much a self-esteem booster for myself on my end. It's a great stress reliever too, honestly. And it's just it's been great so far. And it's really brought me back to life. It really has.
Well, it's a whole confidence thing, and I'm glad that you brought this up because I think what we look at is from a female standpoint. We're in a day and age it's so empowering from women of all combative natures in sports. Women are really taking over the game, and as well, you look at it from a stance too. Like you mentioned, there's so many different body types, there's so many shapes and sizes that make women beautiful internally and externally. So it's really great to see such a forefront with Sessions Wrestling and how empowering it truly is.
It is. And it's also too, it makes you just feel so badass, after you complete a match and like even if you may not win, you still get your moves in to where you knock someone taps out or whatever it may be. And it's just like it feels like you can conquer anything. I all through my life I watched wrestling on TV and things like that, but I never had the ego to jump into it like that. You know what I mean? But I've it's just a great release. It honestly is. It just makes your dopamine just go crazy and you're just like the best high in the world naturally that you could ever experience in your life. You just feel so accomplished.
Oh, absolutely. And first and foremost, there's a lot of badass women, including yourself in session wrestling and wrestling as a whole. And what's really great about it, too, is it's an art form, it's a craft. And I think a lot of people don't realize they see the sensual side and the sex appeal of women like yourself and great strength as well. But they don't realize like the craft and the art form that goes into it, and how you're pleasing the clientele and really fulfilling a fantasy, so to speak. So it really goes a long way when it comes to session wrestling. So I got to say as well, for professional wrestling side of things, you talked about really being a fan of professional wrestling. Who were some of your favorites growing up?
Oh my gosh. So I liked Stone Cold Steve Austin was a big one when I was younger. I also liked Sting, the guy that painted his face.
Yes.
Macho Randy Man Savage, all of them. It's just as a kid, that was the thing that we did with my parents. They weren't really around a lot growing up, but when it was like Monday Night Raw, that's when they order pizza and let us sit with them and actually. As weird as that sounds, it was the one thing that I grew up on that I was really passionate about because that's the things I remember as a kid that our family actually sat down together as and had. And I love acting. I love, making people feel good or entertained by that factor or making them laugh or just being like, getting their excitement level out and the characters that they make. And again, with Session Worlds too, it's just, you can be whatever character you desire to be. And you're still accepted for who you are. You know what I mean? Because it comes hand in hand. They understand that world is like the fantasy land of whatever it is, but they still accept you for who you are. And it's just fun. It's just fun.
No, I totally agree. And first and foremost, I look at it from a stance too, the attitude era and what we have at wrestling and now. There's such a variety for everybody with WWE, Impact Wrestling, AEW. There's so many wrestling promotions out there. And I look at it from a stance too as well. Some people, like chocolate, some people like vanilla. If you have that variety in whatever that you do, I think it's worth it. And plus you get to learn more crafts and add more to your repertoire. And also, I look at it from a stance too as well. Now, let's talk about this here because from Sessions Wrestling and what also goes into it, and as you know, what I do with LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships, it's one of those things where you look at women like that. It's badass. You kind of equate it to like the LFL. You know, we have the Lingerie Football League. We have badass women kicking butt and kicking booty in their lingerie, but god dang, it's great football to see. LFC is one of those things that we get to see jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts, professional wrestling, all encaptured in one with the same sex appeal. Now, I know you have been interested in the LFC world, so let's talk about this. What kind of gravitated you towards wanting to be interested in LFC? Because I know you've been a high proponent of that.
Yes. Well, I wasn't in the beginning. I wasn't expecting it to go that far that quickly. Like I said, I've been on Session Girls for maybe a few weeks. But again, a friend of mine that's been supporting me behind my back and kind of like promoting me and helping guide me. She mentioned the LFC, so I turned on the TV. I was watching it, and I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, I get the sex appeal being drawn in, but the thing is though too, it's just you can feel the energy from the women being like, yeah, I know I'm being looked at by fighting in sexy lingerie or whatever it may be, but they're proving a point that it's like, it don't matter what I look like. I can still kick your ass and I'm badass and I have that power, you know? And when I actually got an email from the LFC, reached out to me, and it was just kind of one of those things I froze for a moment. I'm like, is this real or is this spam? Like, is this one of those things that's like legit? So I got a hold of Delight, who's, like I said, the one that's my partner in this, I guess I should say, like my little ride or die with it. She's like, oh my gosh, girl, this is huge. She's like, do you realize what this is? And I was like, kind of. So we got more involved with it and looking at it. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this, you know? And I was like, this is the closest thing that I'm going to get to like a WCW female wrestler. Cause when I was a kid, I was like, I'm going to do that one day, you know? And it's just mind blowing. And I'm super excited. And that's how it started, was with an email. That's who was reached out. So
What's cool about it too is like you're talking about like the WCW and like the WWF females. I mean, WCW, we had Medusa Michelli, the former Alundra Blaze, in the WWF. We think of women like Chyna. We think of people now like Beth Phoenix and the Trish Stratuses and the Sasha Banks, the Becky Lynch, what have you. It's women like that that are put at the forefront that also, like I mentioned, beautiful women can wrestle, beautiful women, imposing figures, internal and external beauty. And I look at it from a stance of women like yourself, and I got to say, it's not cockiness, it's confidence. And you're surely exuding that with your session wrestling ability.
thank you. Like I said, it's very intimidating at first because, again, I think every woman, they go through a period of life. A lot of women struggle that people don't understand with a lot of mental abuse from people not being good enough because we're promoted to be this perfect image for the world to represent, constantly having makeup done, hair done, being in the best shape of your life. And, it doesn't matter how good looking you are, I tell you all day long, but if your self-esteem is brought down, you're not going to believe that. And this session world, I'm telling you what, like I was embarrassed at first just being a one piece to do a little match, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize the beauty that I still had in me thriving. And it helped bring it out to where I'm just like, I think I'm just the most gorgeous thing in the world, which every woman should feel like. And again, that's not being conceited, it's confidence that's built up because it just boosts everything for you. And I think it's a great thing that the LFC does. Yes, you have to promote the sex appeal. I get it. But at the end of the day, too, it's just a reminder that all women are beautiful, but we're also strong and badass, and we can take back over our stance as females as we should. So
Oh, agreed. And I look at it from a stance too. I mean, a lot of women go, like you mentioned, the struggles. And I always make this comparison. I'm a pop culture nerd, so we'll go here. It reminds me of Jennifer Lopez and Enough, standing up for what she was going through. It's a lot of things that are representation of that. And a lot of women, unfortunately, do go through it. So I look at it from a stance too. Not only the empowering side of things, but it's the strength and the overall thing that comes with inside, like we keep talking about here. But it's very true and it's very apparent. And I mean, you look at the LFC roster, a lot of the alumni. Renee Michelle, who's been on WWE, the wife of Rockstar Spud. We have people like Shelly Martinez. We've had people like Katie Forbes not too long ago, Selena De La Renta. So, I mean, we see a lot of people from the wrestling world doing this, and everything coincides, and it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And I really feel like there's a strong connection with the women in session world and in the wrestling world. Like I said, I've had so many people just reach out to me through email, not just for a session, but to like give me positive reinforcement and like, welcome to the session world. We feel you're going to do great. And there's others, that's been helping guide me and stuff like that, like Chloe and like again, Delight. And it's just really empowering to see all these women, pulling together and want to work together and travel together to promote you and to see you succeed. It's not like competition as in like, in high school, like when a new girl joins the cheerleading squad and they have their nose up in the air because she's new and she's pretty or whatever it is and people like her. It's not like that here. You know what I mean? They're truly based on bringing you up and supporting you. And that's another reason why I love it too. Like complete strangers you don't even know are sitting here like wishing you luck and helping you out and, you know, sending out offers, be like, here's this person, would you like to do a video with me to help? You know, it's just all the good things around it.
Also look at it from a stance. First of all, what you're saying is it's pretty much not like your typical bring it on with like Kirsten Dunst with the cheerleader side of things. I like that. Absolutely. But no, I think that's the main thing that goes through anything. It's the camaraderie factor that goes with LFC in the session world because everybody wants to see everybody succeed. I think we were talking about the clientele. Everybody likes different preferences, so to speak, and that's what makes us as people unique. I mean, there's Lipton carries, there's so many stuff, there's body scissors, head scissors, there's so much that could be offered from the session world. And I think it's great that, again, satisfying the clientele, but also we get to pick people's brains and see what their preferences are.
Yes, and like I said too, there was a couple people that I've done matches with, and for instance, there was this one lady and her husband, and you know she's been doing this for a while, and I'm telling you, their setup was immaculate. I saw it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, but instead of just doing the whole competitive thing, you know, yes, it's business, but they were helping me as I was grappling with her, you know, and she's like, here, instead of pulling this way, do this and look how much more leverage you have. Like they coach you as you're sessioning with them. And it's amazing. It's just such a support group, even with the clientele and the people that are in it together.
And I got to say, Jennifer Thomas, aka Jenny Bloody Valentine, is a part of LFC. Jenny, who's been in the game for many years, UPW, OVW, doing the thing from the professional wrestling side of things. She has an amazing community with the Session World. And I got to say, the Session Girls website is one of my favorite websites because, again, it's so well done, showcases people like yourself, and it really does showcase, like, man, if you don't know what Session World is, but you're going to know what it is, and it really gravitates a lot of people towards it.
It does. And like I said, too, what I like about it, too, is like, yeah, you get dressed up for some of your photos on the webpage, you know, but I love the fact that, again, you know, Delight and Chloe told me, keep your face as natural as possible, you know, and again, it's a big because, you know, I always have to doll myself up or something just to promote myself with whatever it is. And like, people are just blown away by your natural beauty. And again, it just makes you feel so good as a woman. You know what I mean? Knowing that no matter what it is you look like, people will look at you and that's uplifter.
Absolutely, and I think natural beauty is the more purest beauty. And I think with me and my overall viewpoint on women, my mother is my biggest influence, and I love her to death. So that's where I got a lot of my respect and my admiration for towards women is my mother. So I look at it from a stance too. If you have that female influence, if you have the right people around you and your surroundings, it really makes forward to onwards and upwards in your life and overall endeavor that you pursue. And I look at it from a stance too, man. You talk about Delight De La Cruz and Chloe Cummings, two LFC prospects on their own right. What a duo, and single wise, they both do their things from the session wrestling point. So you got to give them a lot of respect. Two beautiful and strong women.
Amazing, very supportive women. I said to you, you know, I just want to commend your mama for raising such a great guy into knowing to respect women, because it's hard to find. Like, I mean, I'm a single mother of a 7-year-old boy. You know, I grew up in a pretty hard lifestyle. You know, I never had my mom. You know, my dad was never home. It was the drugs and things like that. And it was rough. So I always draw myself to men that were, I realize now, that were like my dad. I mean, my dad loved me, but he abused my mom. You know, he neglected her. And I didn't realize that mental stuff as a child, you do absorb the negative, but I only saw the good because my dad put me on this pedestal as his, you know, his baby girl. But then I chased after men that were like my dad my whole life. And, you know, it sucks because I grew up taught to hate my mom, and I didn't realize what she went through personally. It brings you down. And she's been gone now for 8 years, but I just, it's another one of those things. It's like, I will never, ever let a man ever bring me down or make me feel that way. Cause I look back to see the images of my mom's face and her depression, and it was based off of being degraded and not feeling good enough. And my mom was a beautiful woman, and she never got the chance to shine like she should have. So this is another reason why I'm in it too. I'm very thankful to got out of this abusive situation I was in. And I'm like, you know what? I'm doing this for my mom. I'm doing this for myself to show other women too. Don't let any man ever tell you you're not good enough or that you wouldn't be able to do anything without them, because at the end of the day, you are strong enough and you are beautiful. And, you know, men should be blessed and the fact that they received an awesome woman. You know, don't take it for granted. Don't let every man take you for granted for anything that you do. Like, you deserve the best, and you shouldn't accept anything else but that. So
I will say this first and foremost, like, God bless you with everything that you've gone through. Here you are still here to this day, and god dang, man, I look at it from a stance too. Well, first of all, you have the utmost of respect with the devoted mother that you are. Single parent, I mean, it's hard for a lot of people, but you're doing the thing. That's the best job that you have right now. And I also look at it from a stance too, man. Like, mental health is so important, and we'll get into this topic. putting it at the forefront, because I think a lot of people need that positive assurance, and I think we all need that positivity, because mind you, we're going to have obstacles in our life, but I think the one phrase that I love, and I'll say this to you and anybody that listens to this: trust the process. Really do trust the process, because a lot of people will doubt themselves and they don't know where they're going. They don't know which way is up. What are we doing here? But at the end of the day, just trust the process. Patience is a virtue, and good things will come. So I think a lot of people need to adhere to that, because it really does go all the way in life.
They really do, because I'm telling you what, you know, I'm 32 years old, and I'm just now waking up and realizing, all the bad that I've been through. I've always like, why me? Like, I do whatever it is, blame it on God, blame it on the higher divinity, whatever it may be. Like, why am I going through this? But the thing is, I went through this because I was strong enough to survive, and my story needs to be put out there to let other women know you can get through whatever. I've been at rock bottom more than once, but I've gotten back up every single time. And it's another thing too, especially to single moms that are in abusive relationships. I want my son to be proud. I want him to see, he's seen mommy in situations that he shouldn't have to see, but now he tells me, he's like, Mommy, I'm proud of you. He's like, look at you, because I told my son about the wrestling. I didn't get into detail about like lingerie and stuff, but I just said, mommy's been wrestling, because, I had a couple bruises, rolling around. And he's just like, I'm glad that my mommy's strong enough to be able to handle a fight. He's proud of me. It's not just myself, but it's also to show, no matter how low it gets or how bad it gets, that you can always come out stronger.
100%. I think that's a great lesson to teach to your son. And I also look at it from a stance too. I mean, there's going to be bruises that come with it. You know what I'm saying? With sessions, just in general, because again, you're beating the tar out of each other, but at the same time, it's fun at the same time. But I also look at it from a stance too, man. Like, with everything that was going on with COVID and quarantine, it gives us an opportunity to get the creative juices flowing and working out and doing the thing and really getting stronger mentally and physically. So, I mean, that's helped you as well. And that's the most important thing with sessions and anything is fitness. Y'all are just nonstop and you grind. So that's the overall great aspect of it as well, the fitness side of things, because we got a lot of beautiful women doing the damn thing.
Yes. And again, too, like I said, how do I want to put this? It's just one of those things that every woman should do it. It honestly, I don't care how low you may think that you are, somebody damaging you, get out and wrestle. Just roll around on a mat for a minute with another female, let those endorphins flow through. And I'm telling you, it releases so much. And this is what built me up. I've tried other things. I've had people tell me, you might be depressed. You should be on medicines for this. Everybody's so quick to medicate whatever mental illness they put out there, but they don't understand it's not mental illness, it's damage. It's mental damage. There's a difference. Just like we're taught everything growing up. If someone is constantly putting in your head, you're being taught that that's how you are. So then you fall into a depression, or you don't feel like you're good enough. And then all of a sudden they think you're either crazy or you're lacking this, but it's just damage. But the thing about damaged things can always be fixed and renewed. So that's why when women get diagnosed with these mental illnesses and get looked at like with either bipolarism or depression or anxiety, you need to find the core of the root of what caused that. Because you're not just born with that. In the core of the root, it's mental damage, not mental illness, and it can be healed and fixed. But you got to be able to embrace yourself. You want that too. You just need positivity, and I think a form of anger release. And Sessions World just brings all that together with the women empowerment, the looking beautiful, feeling beautiful, people wanting to reach out to you to wrestle with you, and the fact that you let out all those endorphins. This is what lifted my spirits back up. I can finally look in the mirror again and honestly say, "Wow, Lizzie, you're pretty." London, sorry, you're pretty, and you can succeed at anything that you do, no matter what people think of you. You don't need people's approval to feel good about yourself or feel good enough.
100%. And I look at it from a stance too as well, because we all go through that. And first of all, I'll say this: kids can be cruel because we have bullying, and it still kind of carries over into adulthood. But at the same time, it's like as we get older and wiser, we start to realize who we are. It's that come to Jesus moment. It's that looking in the mirror. But at the same time, you have that self-reflection. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. Just go out there and do what you love. And I think a lot of people need to have that mentality and that mindset. This is what I also love about Session, the confidence that we mentioned. At the same time, we got events like Women's Athletes on Fire that Jen's doing, really get to showcase women at the forefront. The Session Girls events in itself, it's like, man, it's a good time for women just to showcase what they are. I mean, we've all known this, but it's great to see now that in the limelight, we're focusing on a lot of women's athletes and women's wrestling or what have you. And that's really, really important, because a lot of the women don't get their just due, and we're having to do different perspective on women.
Right, exactly. And there's so many women out there that go through so much, that are so strong and have the capability of being the best they can be. And like I said, again, with this Session World, you get to show that. And like you said, patience is a virtue. Like, on my end, I did not expect all this to happen so quickly. It's just, timing is everything. And I'm so thankful and blessed. But again, I had to learn to love myself to be able to put my 100% into this. And I did. And I feel like this is fate reaching out saying, once you love yourself, good happens, good comes. The negativity stays away. And again, where everybody, you're taught hate, you're taught racism, you're taught negativity, you're taught that, you know what I mean? And if we can reach out lifting up from our worst spot up to now, showing that we made it through, we should also teach, be kind, because even though people say you're stronger by going through the worst and coming back up, we're very blessed to come back up. A lot of women don't make it. You know what I mean? They stick with it because they feel like they don't deserve anything better, and they don't get that opportunity. So that's another thing too, being in this. I try to tell people all the time, be kind. You're not going to like everybody. You're not going to like the same things other do, but if they enjoy it and it's something they're passionate about, just smile for them and be happy. You don't have to put your 2 cents in. Just be kind. There's times I'm at the grocery store and I can see a woman's upset or down, or her kids, like, you could tell she's stressed, and like, I'll just be like, wow, I really like her hair. I'm going to let her know about that. Or, you know what I mean? Or like, that eyeshadow looks great on you. Or where'd you get your shirt at? That's awesome. Just that little bit I've noticed doing it for others and for me, it does make you feel positive about your day. It's just those little things will help the damage that's done. And people don't get that. It's the little things, like you said, trusting the process to be able to keep going forward. You know what I mean? It builds you up. Little pieces help break damaged holes. It's not all going to happen overnight. It's not going to be like one big Superman, but like your little act of kindness is filling in broken pieces that people don't realize. And it really does help to move you forward to feeling better.
I think that goes a long way, not just in the session wrestling world, but just in general in life. Be kind, stay humble, be professional. I think that's why you get a lot of clientele. And I'll be honest with you, I think what's great about it, the images side of things, you look good, you're doing your thing, beautiful photos on the Session Girl site. But god dang, man, the other thing that attracts a lot of people towards you, you have that kindness and professionalism about you. And that really goes a long way in any walk of life.
Thank you. I try. You know what I mean? I have my moments. Don't get me wrong. There's moments I'm just like, wow, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry I said that. You just caught me at the wrong. But at the end of the day, no matter how broken I was, I've always tried to make people feel accepted. I moved around a lot as a kid, and I've accepted everybody. There's the kids sitting by themselves at lunch, and I'll just go sit with them because you don't know what they're going through. You're going to judge them as the smelly kid in class, but you don't know what his home life's like. A child can't. They don't choose to live like that. You know what I mean? You just got to be kind to people, man, because it goes a long way, and people don't get that. Like, you could have prevented somebody from falling out, and like, depression, sadness causes negative things to happen in the world. And we just need to be that one person, one time a day. Don't even matter. Like, I do it to my pets. I'll be like, oh, to my cat, like, oh, Lou, you look pretty today, fancy. You know what I mean? And you can tell that she's just prancing better. It's just one of those things. It's law of attraction. You put it out there, it comes back to you. So.
Amen to that. And I look at it from a stance too as well. What's also great about any art form and combative nature, just what you're saying, I look at it from a stance with session wrestling. I always say it's the 2 S's, safe and spectacular, because that's what you want to do. You want to make your clientele safe, and you want to make it look spectacular what you're doing. So I think it's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. It's the 2 S's. It's safe and spectacular with every session and everything that we do.
Yes. And like I said, there's been moments where I've got like out of character or goofy, and I would just have like, I'm so sorry, but they like, that's what we like about you, London, because like, yeah, you do a very good job, but like, everybody's nervous when they first meet somebody. And like, you have some different like type of wrestling styles that they want that you're not used to, or you like look up and try to practice. But like, everybody that I've went with so far, they're just like such positive things. Like, your personality is amazing. It's okay if you chuckle, but like, you make them feel comfortable. And I guess I had to develop that survival mode, moving around a lot, comfortability, feeling accepted. So I try to make everybody, feel welcomed no matter what it is. I'm that person of the group that I'll make you talk. Like, we're going to talk today. We're going to talk. What do you like? What are you interested in? And it goes a huge long way. And just being yourself, no matter what character you play, don't lose your true self. And I think that's what's helped me out a lot too, being more comfortable, and people like being like, oh, hey, London, because I still have the same personality, no matter what character I'm playing or what wrestling move I'm moving. But again, never lose yourself, whether you succeed in life as this famous person or if you're just mediocre, whatever it is, just never lose your true, genuine self and who you are. And I think that's the main point too, that people will be successful at in life.
Beautifully and eloquently said. And I also look at it from a stance too. Here's what's really cool about anything in life. Like you mentioned, comfortability. This can apply to everything. What my motto is with this podcast and with my guests, I'm all about accommodation and comfortability. The A and the C, if you will. Accommodating people with their times and their schedules, making them feel comfortable. And I think that's what makes a good line of work. That's what makes good any profession, is comfortability. And you definitely show that with your clientele. And I'm going to say, man, you're a little buck wild, you're a little fierce. I've seen you do your chokes and stuff on sessions and doing everything encompassed with that. But there's nothing wrong with a little buck wildness, a little fierceness. It really does show in the craft.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, like, it was so funny that you said that, because my first sessions video that I did with I believe her name is Mina. I think I'm saying it right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. I apologize, hon. But she was so cool, and she went through kind of similarities that I did. And she told me, she's like, girl, let it out. I see it in you. Like, she knows it. So I was like, all right, I let it out. And like, that's when I got that mean chokehold. I'm like, you know, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was like, she was proud of me. She wasn't even upset. She's like, that's what you need to do. How do you feel? And I do get aggressive because, you know, some girls, they have a point to prove to some of them towards like men, whatever it is that I have a point to prove to myself that I am capable of, and I am good enough, and that I can accomplish taking this girl out, even though she's more experienced than I am. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. But I also sit back and I'm a body language observer. Like, the first couple of times I'll let them come towards me and I'm paying attention to their footwork, how they're moving, what way they're going. And I think they call me sneaky. And I think that's my upper hand of it, because I've learned body language my whole life, you know, having to survive, like I said, moving around a lot and reading people and just making sure I'm in okay situations. So I kind of watch people when they're fighting or they're coming at me in the moves they're doing. And it blows their mind because they say she's fierce and sneaky, because I pay attention to your body language. I'll let you put me in a headlock a couple times and tap out, but then it's on, you know. But again, my faces do get kind of aggressive because I keep a mindset of like the reason why I'm doing it. And I'm just like, I just want to look mean, you know, even if the move looks messed up, at least that mean face is gonna counteract with it a little bit, you know. But it's really fun. There's nothing else that, like, I can't even believe I didn't do this years ago, or I should have jumped on it before, but it wasn't my time. My path wasn't done yet to be able to be successful at it and enjoy it, I feel. So
Well, it's like the Natasha Bedingfield song, "The Rest is Still Unwritten," and I mean that's very apropos in today's society and in life. And also, I look at it from a stance too, man. When you talk about your fierceness, sometimes you got to let it out, like you mentioned. Sometimes you got to choke somebody, but it's all in good fun. And also, with your situation, everything that we discussed today, it's like sometimes you got to let it out. It's like you're tackling fuel. You're like Bobby Boucher in the water, but you got to let that tackling fuel out, you know. So I mean, sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes it works for a damn good content and damn good match. So I mean, it works. It all coincides.
the thing is though too, what we need to understand, like my first match that I did, like I haven't worked out in years, like, and I was so out of shape and everything. But the thing is though, I beat her, and that's what the huge empowerment was. Because like when I first told my friend about it, she's like, "We're gonna wrestle." She's like, "You haven't wrestled since high school. What are you doing?" She's like, "You're out of shape." I mean, I'm out of shape. I was, you know, smoked cigarettes, and I was like, she's not gonna kick my ass, but let's do this. And knowing the fact that I had that much strength and ability, and how proud, you know, Chloe and Delight was, like, holy fuck. Because I was so nervous for my first video wrestling. I'm like, what do I do? I'm gonna mess up. Can we like pregame? And they're just like, just be yourself and do it. And they were so proud of me, and to see that, you know, and realizing, man, what if I start training and like get better and push myself? I was like, think how great I can be. You know what I mean? Just to see how proud they were at me at my most random, just off the streets, like, we're just gonna wrestle, you know, never doing it before, was huge empowerment. It helped me to want to work out more, to eat better, and to better myself, because I saw what core strength that I had without any of that. And it's just like, sky's the limit. So that's another booster that you have. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
And I gotta say this, I think the future is going to be nothing but onward and upward for you. I can't wait to see more work that you do in sessions. I can't wait to see you in LFC. I'm going to say right now, in the future, towards the future. The sky is the limit, as you so aproposly put it there. And I really, really am blessed to talk with amazing people like yourself and do what I do. So I got to thank you. And before we wrap this up, I'm going to say right now, round two, anytime you want to come back on, the overtures here, you're more than welcome to.
Anytime you need me, bud. I appreciate talking to you. I think what you are doing is amazing. Your mama raised such an amazing boy. The fact that you promote women empowerment, and what you do is just a huge blessing. And I'm very thankful that you do this for us and for women out there. Because a lot of men, you know, they don't like promoting women out there because some of them have that ego, but what you're doing is amazing. And I would definitely be on this show whenever you would like, 100%. I would make time for it regardless.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and we will definitely do it sometime in the new year as well. Because, like I said, the rest is still unwritten for Miss London Storm, and it's every chapter, man. It's every chapter in the book, and you're going to keep fulfilling those chapters until that full book is written. So, guys, definitely check out London Storm on Session Girls, and this is where I'll actually step back. Social media besides Session Girls, Instagram, Twitter, please feel free to promote. The floor is yours, London.
Yes, I do. Delight and I have been setting up Instagram and Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. for London Storm. But like I said, we are doing the Instagram and Twitter. It's in the process. Like I said, I'm so new to this still. Everything just coming all at once. So we're trying. We are, but it's out there. I'm also on her Twitter page and on her Instagram as well for Delight Dela Cruz. So you can find me on there as well and on Chloe's.
Alrighty, links will be in the description for Miss London Storm and Delight and Chloe, of course, because they introduced us to this lovely woman here in the session wrestling world. And I gotta say, first and foremost as well, before we do close this out, I cannot wait to see what you do once more to reiterate that fact, and I really can't wait to see how the world of session wrestling is going to continue to grow and continue to flourish. And my last words, as I always say on this show, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss London Storm, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. You have a great day, hon.